Welcome to Love Stories, and today we're going to be hearing some more people telling us the extraordinary tales about the things they did for love. We'll be meeting Craig and Sarah from Kingsbridge. Acting brought them together.
Meeting him and finding what real love was all about was, to say the least, rather shocking to me.
But then they lost touch until, well, I don't want to spoil it for you. And we'll be hearing the genuinely uplifting story of Joan and pianist Bob, who met on a railway station in the London Blitz and who thought Bob's playing days were over, until we came to film them. But first we're off to Bridport to meet Dave and Sarah, who fell in love at first sight and wanted to be together, but told themselves it wasn't, as President Clinton would say, appropriate behaviour. In a minute, we'll be meeting intrepid wartime sweethearts Bob and Joan. But first, let's hear how things have finally come together for Craig and Sarah.
So anyway, come to do the show that evening, and I was opening the evening off with Tonight from West Side Story, which I thought, sod it, enough. Time has passed. I want to sing this song to you, and so I sang it to Sarah.
He sang it to me, directly looking at me.
But I wasn't actually quite sure if she'd realised that I was singing it to her at this time.
And I thought, OK, there's rather more to this than I thought.
Then we went back to Maggie's house afterwards for the kind of a party get-together.
But we were all sitting around in sort of semicircle. There was about 20 people. And he went round the room and he kissed every single girl in that room goodbye.
Cheerio, cheerio, bye, to everybody except Sarah.
Except for me. Which must have looked a little bit strange, I think.
And so I left. I did leave a note on the front seat of the car that I thought that she was driving, but it transpired that she wasn't actually driving that car, and so...
I've let him go again, basically. There might have been a chance, if I'd have said what I wanted to say, maybe there would have been a chance.
Back home in London, Craig discovered his marriage to Crystal was in trouble. But despite this, he still went with her to Hollywood to try and develop his career.
My own marriage at the time was not unhappy, but was going nowhere, and I was really feeling trapped and stuck, and that my husband was really more like a brother figure than a husband figure.
Then a letter of apology arrived from Craig. Her reply came as a bombshell.
I'm prepared to give up my life for you, but you'll have to come and live back in the UK because I cannot leave my children.
I'm thinking... huge.
And I'm not quite sure what he thought. Shock horror, I should think.
So I've got to go back. Being in America was driving me insane because for years all I'd wanted to do was get out there, and now I'm out there. All I want to do is get back to work out what was going to happen, what our future was, and so I came back.
So we basically checked into this hotel, and this is where the relationship changes gear. This lovely platonic friendship that we'd always had was going to be platonic no longer. And that was an extremely scary moment.
Happily for them, they were compatible. But how have things turned out for the others involved?
Everyone's happy. My ex-husband has now got a very lovely girlfriend. He's very happy. The children love her. The children love Craig. So they actually get completely spoilt because it means they get double everything from everybody. So we're all doing very well, actually. It's been great.
Craig and Sarah. Our next couple, Bob and Joan, met in the Blitz. He was a London fireman who rescued her from a bombed train line and escorted her across town. She might never have seen him again, but...
For some reason, he must have found my name and address, because this is the weekend, and by the Monday morning I had a letter from him asking me if I would meet him.
A fireman has to do things quickly, and I didn't want to lose an opportunity of meeting someone I thought was just right.
And we met, and I know I didn't recognize him when I first saw him on this occasion, because he was dressed in civilian clothes. And he had a wonderful outfit on, and he looked so handsome. He looked ever so much nicer than I thought he did on the first occasion.
In our station we had a horn player from the London Symphony Orchestra, myself on the piano, a young fellow, Mark, who was a violinist with a West End orchestra, of course in the fire brigade, because no one wanted a musician, particularly a violinist. In no time ago we'd got a little show together, and just for fun. And then of course the district officer heard about it and said, would you like to go around the other stations, give them a concert? Then of course after that we went professional.
Then they were lacking a drummer, and Bob had an awfully important engagement. It was really rather good. He said, you'll have to play with us. And we really had to start from scratch. He had to buy an outfit for me, of course. And I had a crash course. Someone came to the house and gave me lessons. And I used to have to work hard with gramophone records to get all the different tempos. I had to really work hard. And then I must admit, I did play with you a couple of times and I didn't get paid.
I didn't want to be accused of nepotism, so we decided we wouldn't pay her at first.
No.
Mind, she was very decorative.
Bob and Joan have had a long, happy and very musical marriage. That was until 3 years ago when he lost his hearing.
How has it affected me? Well, I can't hear. I can't chase after girls like I used to. I can't catch them. And when I do, I can't remember why.
Oh, dear.
Unfortunately, I can't hear what I'm doing. The notes are distorted, and very often I think gosh, that wasn't right. And I know it's right because my fingers are doing the right movements, but what I hear is not right.
It's a
But
shame, isn't it?
we've got hopes that something will turn up, that we can get some hearing back.
Colin, our sound recordist, thought he might be able to help Bob to hear the music again. It meant installing a bit of technical wizardry, but it worked. Miracles, it seems, can still happen. All it took was a mic actually inside the piano, a mixing console to filter the extraneous sound, and a pair of headphones. Since we went to see Bob, we've equipped him with his very own kit and brought back into his life the music he loves and thought he'd lost forever. Once he realised what had happened, it wasn't long before tears came. But we left that moment for Bob and Joan to have alone. I must admit, I can't imagine a world without the sound of music, so I'm glad it worked out for Bob and Joan. But what do they and our other couples reckon love really is? What makes us fall in love and keeps us together?
Such a connection between us. When we used to sit up on that rock, looking out to sea, and we'd have the sun coming down at one side and the moon coming down the other.
Golden and silver light on the water.
Yeah, just coming straight towards us.
Like, yeah.
And there was so much magic involved with that.
This is a person's life you're dealing with here, and you've got the choice of making it happy or sad for them, you know. And I want to spend the rest of my life with Dave, and I want him to be happy in that relationship or in our relationship, and therefore 50% of his happiness has got to come from me.
How do we feel about life after love, after all these years?
Well,
it does change. Of
We're
course.
happier now than we've ever been.
I think I could say that too.
I think.
It's rather
I think if you're both working like mad, love takes a back seat. If you're together, that's good enough. But now that we're together and not working,
No,
we have a little bit more time for each other.
I think perhaps that's it, yes.
I can't give any advice. I'm not competent enough for that.
I'm sure any scientist would tell you that love doesn't really make the world go round, but from my experience and those of our couples today, it certainly makes it a more agreeable place to be. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.